Well, Abebrese is a Ghanaian British award-winning actress, a television presenter, and a producer. She played a supporting role in the critically acclaimed Netflix movie Beast of No Nation, starring Idris Elba. Abebrese recently sat down with me to talk about her acting career and how it all began.
My journey when it comes to acting goes way back from a very young age. I remember watching a movie called The Color Purple. It's a Steven Spielberg directed it, Oprah was in it. It was a huge film, I think early 90s. I was very young. And I remember at the end of the movie, I saw in the credits a name, Akosua Buzia. Now I was in London, that's where I grew up. And I was thinking, wow, this person has a similar name to me. From there, I was hooked, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna, get into as much as possible. So I did all the school plays, went on to study drama at university. I have a degree in drama and media arts, and did my auditions from there. Then when I moved to Ghana about 6 years ago, I auditioned for a movie called Sinking Sands, which I got the lead, and the rest is history.
What do you make of actually making that transition from Britain to Africa, to Ghana specifically, and delving into movie acting in your home country?
It was interesting because I didn't know much about Ghanaian cinema or Ghanaian film because the vast majority of my life had been in London. But I used to watch the movies, the home movies. Anytime we'd go on holiday, we'll buy it, and I used to really love it. So when I didn't know what to expect because I'd never been on a film set in Ghana, and I've been on film sets in the UK. It was different. Lucky for me, the first film which I was cast in was, it had an international crew, so it was very professional, and it was amazing. Since then, I've obviously been on different sets, and it's different. I think we don't have as much resources. We can't compare ourselves to Hollywood or mainstream by any chance, but I think we have some of the most dedicated filmmakers because it's the passion that drives most of us that make film on the continent of Africa, especially since we don't have those huge budgets.
And one of the things that struck many people across the world is that the movie production in Nigeria and Ghana has really gone up. But some people say, well, perhaps there is a frenzy in producing movies, but there needs to be a little time given to producing quality movies.
I think, like anything, if you look at Hollywood, they have the B movies, they have independent movies, and usually some of them are not that good, they're not that great of a quality. I think the same thing if you look at the film industry in Ghana and Nigeria. There are those who are taking time, spending a year or two and really doing quality productions. There's a few, but then the vast majority do what, the turnover. They'll do a movie very quick, turnover within a couple of weeks, a couple of months. And those are usually low budget, funny films. They have a huge audience. I mean, the audience tends to be a lot more bigger than the ones doing the quality. So I think, yes, you just like you have low quality movies, we also have them there. It's just unfortunate. I feel like the world tends to see more of our lower budget, very, very low budget films as opposed to the high end ones.
What do you make of the stories that are being told from either Ghana or Nigeria, but let's focus on Ghana? Are we trying to tell the Ghanaian story in the movies, or are we increasingly finding ourselves trying to emulate Hollywood and do the Hollywood style movies? I think,
yes, we're telling Ghanaian stories, but maybe we're not telling the great Ghanaian stories. I'd love to hear, watching an Nkrumah film, Yasantua, even how Ghana came to gain independence. I think we're telling stories, different stories, maybe not enough of our own historical stories, but I've noticed too, I think the reason we don't tell some of our bigger historical stories is because budgets involved would be huge if you wanted to do them correctly. There are those who emulate, but even if you emulate, some of the times you wouldn't even recognize it's the same story because if their budgets don't meet up. I know someone that did a version of Pretty Woman, and it looked totally different. Only those who knew Pretty Woman like myself, I'd be, oh, isn't that Pretty Woman? People do that, and I don't think, I just wish we had the budgets to tell our own stories the way it should be told in a grand way.